Okay, good morning. My name is Kim McDonald. I'm part of the product marketing team here at Absorb. We're very excited that you joined us this morning for today's session on getting the most out of your data. Does the thought of diving into your LMS data send your heart racing? Whether it's from anxiety or excitement, you'll be glad you came to today's Absorb Summit presentation. We will be focusing on accessing your data in different ways, including building a meaningful dashboard, using advanced reporting and analytics, and extracting data from your LMS. Just a few housekeeping things to take care of before we dive in. This session is being recorded, and it will be available to view starting next week in the Summit portal. All attendees are automatically muted and have their cameras off. If you have any questions throughout the session, please use the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen to submit your questions. We'll be hosting a Q&A at the end of the session. So please don't wait till the end to ask your questions. Feel free to enter them as you think of them, and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. So this session is all about data. We're going to walk you through all the data that's available through your LMS. Then we're going to show you how to access that data based on your business context, and then use that data to build meaningful dashboards. Then we'll jump into some advanced reporting and analytics and end up by showing you how to extract data from your LMS. You couldn't have a better speaker than we do today. We have Pamela Easterbrook with us. She has worked at Absorb for 4 years and has recently taken the position of Senior Manager Product Delivery. She loves what she does at Absorb as it allows her to tap into her creativity, passion for design, and enjoyment in creating experiences that others can appreciate and get benefit from. When Pamela is not working, she enjoys nature photography, hobby interior design and renovation projects, and spending time with her partner and pets. Thank you, Pamela. I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks so much, Kim. I also want to take a minute here to introduce Abdul. Abdul's going to be helping me out with this presentation. He'll be doing some of the product demos for the BI product Analyze that we have, and helping out in the Q&A by trying to answer some of your questions on the fly. So excuse my voice because I have a cold. I'll just preempt with that, but let's get into it. I'm going to start off with sort of a general data overview. Why is data important? What's the value of data? So when you think about it, data underpins everything we do in society today, from our GPS telling us how to get where we're going, to the projections on the stocks we want to invest in, to the reviews of the products we're thinking about buying. It's incredibly valuable. It gives you the ability to make educated and informed decisions. If information is surfaced quickly, it can help you save time. And if you're looking for trends or patterns, then there's many tools that can help auto-generate that for you and take the complexity out of analyzing the data. They can also help you surface anomalies or exceptions to expected rules. So having the data and being able to use the data is incredibly important to businesses. So it can help. What problems can it help you solve? Improving operational effectiveness by improving business processes, explaining company growth, like if your ARR is increasing over time, why is that happening? Your data can tell you. It can help you mitigate risks, increase customer satisfaction, and it can help you stay compliant with regulations important to your industry, i.e., if you're reporting on compliance, if you can get at that data to understand how compliant your organization is, well, you can make sure you're in the green, so to speak. So since we're talking about data, I thought I'd give some statistics. I don't know if people knew, but the global analytics market was valued at 157 roughly billion US dollars in 2020. And it's been projected that that's going to sort of double almost, so to 268 billion by 2026. So to put that in perspective, Tableau is one of the leading analytics providers, and they boasted a revenue of 1.16 billion in 2018. That's just 1% of that market share. A company like Salesforce, who then bought them and is known globally and serves many markets, boasted a revenue of 21 billion in 2021, and that's still only 5% of the number described above for the total addressable BI market. So I feel like these numbers help to reinforce the value that business sees in data, in how the market projects you can get revenue out of it, and how these companies are doing in their own annual recurring revenue. So what questions can you answer with your LMS data, just to kind of tie it back to the LMS? Maybe you're asking about completing a sales order, or completing a curriculum, or completing a work order, and telling us how much ARR is then generated from that client. These are the types of questions you can get out of your data and kind of into the hands of your executives or your business decision makers, so they can understand what's happening in their business, and hopefully they can see a return on their LMS investment. So let's review what broad areas data analytics can help with, and then I'm going to get your opinion, because I'd really like to hear from you on what's important to your organization. This is interesting for us because it helps us understand you, our clients, or our prospective clients, and kind of helps to give us a pulse on if we're understanding our market well. But in short, business analytics can help with solving problems or improving processes related to people, process, technology, as you see on the left. But it can also help with informing strategy, driving decision-making in line with growth opportunities for a given business. As I mentioned before, it can help with risk mitigation and compliance tracking. So we'll just put a poll up. If you'd be willing, could you just vote and let us know how data is valuable to you and your organization? And then Nicole, who's helping out here, when you think we've got enough responses, feel free to just share the results and we can just take a look at them. Maybe we could end the poll. Hi.
Yeah, are you seeing the results on your end?
I'm not seeing the results on my end.
Okay.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this to you without having to change screen sharing source, so I'll just drop you.
Yeah, sure. She'll put that in
now.
Teams for me. I'll take a look at it and loop back on it. For now, I'll continue with the presentation. Seems like technology is not necessarily working in our favor. Oh, there it is. Okay. So actually, it looks like we're fairly evenly spread, less on the e-commerce side. But all of these things seem generally important to the audience. So I guess that's a good thing. It means like we're looking at the right areas, and it's actually a broad problem that we're trying to solve. So I'm going to come out of the high level overview and go deeper into how we're viewing data within the LMS. So at Absorb, we place utmost importance on the security, the integrity, and the accuracy of your data. We want to make it accessible to you. We keep trying to make improvements to how you can access your data so that it is even more accessible. And of course, we're going to go over a few of those in this session. But the two bullet points at the top is kind of where I'm going to dive into next. So outside of the security, the right to be forgotten, the accuracy, and the accessibility, we have to think of data in business concepts. So I'll go over a few concepts in a minute, but context on data is incredibly important. You need to know how you're going to use it, why it's important, what it can do for you. And as I mentioned, that's what I'm going to try and bring to the table in these slides. So here are some data sets, if you want to think of them that way, that you can use to answer the question, are users certified? This is a simplification because there's, of course, many other fields, many other contexts, many other concepts that you might consider to help you round out this question. But simply put, these are the larger data sets that give you the right context and information to help you answer that question. In another example, if I go back and forth, we switch out our certification concept for our activity concept. And by using two similar data sets, but switching out a third, we can now ask what courses have been updated recently and by who, and answer an entirely different question. But again, understanding which contexts and which concepts you need to access helps you get to the root of that question more quickly. Here I switched out course for departments, so I kept user and activity, but again, it's another view. Now you can take a department-based view, you can switch out course, and you can answer the question which departments are most active in the LMS. And then I have one more example, which courses are most popular. So here I kept course and activity and flipped out departments for rating. And through that lens, I should be able to see which courses are most popular and understand how they're performing in my LMS. So all the data sets I showed you are what I would think of as data concepts. And this is how you use them in our LMS today. We have the courses report, the users report, we have learner activity report, and we have these data concepts, and you're probably very familiar with them. But I feel like calling it out in this way is a good way to kind of also represent them. So on this slide, I called out much higher level concepts like content and likelihood to recommend and compliance. And I sort of detailed out a few LMS concepts that might fit into these areas that as you're working with your data, as you're working with your reporting, this is how you might access those types of metrics like engagement in courses or compliance and so on. The point I'm really trying to get at with all of this, I'm hoping it came through, is that data is really only relevant when you have the context to its relevance, so you can leverage that data to your best advantage. So I mentioned what you can access this in your LMS. I'm just going to kind of go through the ways you can access this. So of course, we have our out-of-the-box reporting that's available to every LMS customer. We've got a set of summarized canned reports that you can quickly go to and apply filters to get at what you need. But we also have some administrated dashboards, which I'm going to show you in a bit. And they can be leveraged for a bit more, not just for reporting, but also for communicating with your user base. The second product offering, if you will, that we have that's kind of an add-on to our out-of-box reporting is our data exports. So working with our professional services team, you can get access to have one-off reports built. This is sort of built for you. This is sort of, you don't need anything as heavy as a BI product, which is our Analyze, but you need a little bit more than our out-of-box reporting provides you. A data export might just fit that need. So then if that's not quite sufficient, if you maybe have lots of reports you need to generate and you can't quite get what you need out of the box, then Analyze is our self-service BI tool. You might want to use this if you're primarily interested in your in your LMS data. If you don't have your own BI reporting tool in your organization, well, we've got one for you and it's embedded in the LMS. And this is kind of like our third level. But an alternative option that we'll also touch on today is AnalyzeDirect. And AnalyzeDirect essentially takes away the BI front end and allows you to directly access your LMS data in a data warehouse. The idea being, if you have your own Power BI or Tableau or ThoughtSpot or insert other BI tool here, you can directly access that data from that tool by connecting to this data warehouse and then build those data models. That's the technical term if people don't know, to help answer those business questions. So something else I want to kind of get into to help you with that context and access and to tell you how we're thinking about things is we typically think about our client use cases in these 4 categories. So we have some clients who are very heavily compliant focused and they use their LMS primarily to ensure their employees are taking training, maintaining business compliance, security, and the ability to report on people who are out of compliance is very important. And that's kind of what they're looking at. And we believe that much of this use case can be met with our base reports. Then we have this other set who are sort of maybe strategic and skills focused. They're really using the LMS as a vehicle to help provide training. Maybe they're interested in the social aspects of learning or skill paths and the content that's available for employees to easily engage with and upskill themselves. These people may benefit from a tool like Analyze because it's that next level of kind of deeper dive analytics I was talking about. But equally, we have our dashboards and our base reports that can help you get at this data. Then we have this other concept of our clients who kind of redistribute the LMS to their own customers and their own partners. And their needs are slightly varied again, less on the reporting side, but more on the ability to maybe brand and focus the LMS to their partners and their customers. Of course, reporting on that's important. The LMS and a tool like Analyze can let you get at that data, but here their kind of focus is more on what they can share out and how they can share it out. And then lastly, e-commerce. There wasn't a huge representation from this in the audience, but it is another valuable segment. And of course, they're primarily focused on selling courses, the ability to generate revenue from those courses, and also generate interest. So I would love to understand again from you, our audience, which category do you really most identify with? So we're going to put up another poll, and perhaps Nicole will send me the results in chat in a few minutes. But could you let me know with my brief description of those segments, kind of who do we have in the audience today? And Nicole, I'll trust you to know when it's a good time to end that.
Got about 75% of the audience has answered now, so I'll close it down and I'll just drop you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, that time it actually came up on my screen. So so there we go. So I can see that perhaps the audience is evenly spread between that strategic skills and external partners use case. Of course, partners and customers can really be business departments too. Like maybe you could think of your partners or your customers as other areas of your organization internal to your specific organization. But thank you for providing that input. And I'm also just going to pause here to say, please drop questions in the chat. I see a few in the Q&A. We will get to them at the end, but if something comes up for you want to ask about, don't hesitate to put it in the chat and we'll try and answer that later. So just a quick recap, start with your base LMS reports, add on your admin dashboards available in your base LMS, and if you need more, consider Analyze or AnalyzeDirect. Here's some quick client examples of how people are using or the types of questions, let's say, people are asking of their data. The first bullet point is from a manufacturing client, large enterprise with sort of 2,000 employees roughly. The second bullet point is a use case from a computer and software industry with roughly 1,000 employees. Third use case, food and beverage industry client with actually over 170,000 employees. And the last one is more of a mid-sized client in the healthcare industry with roughly 900 employees. All that to say, I called out some industries and company sizes, but I'm sure anyone could have value in answering these questions, but some context anyway as to the types of people today we've seen asking these questions of their data. So how do you build meaningful LMS dashboards? I'm just going to go over into the LMS, and I'm going to start here with, here's the dashboard I made earlier. I'm going to, of course, start from the analytics side, but I also want to show you something you can get out of your rich text widget, which is a widget that's available to you on this dashboard. So here I've got like a general overview of activity happening in my LMS, and I've built some widgets that are important to me. I want to see what my logins are over the last 12 months or maybe last 3 months. It remembers what you're looking at. This is a test portal, so you can see there hasn't been a huge amount of activity, but in your portal, I'm sure the data would look a lot better. On the right here, I've got a specific course view of progress through courses. I might be interested in failures, but I might also be interested in who has not started a course yet, and I'll get to that in a minute. I've also got my department progress widget, which allows me to, again, look at general department progress across courses and drill into that data. And then I've got some simple competencies widgets that's showing me a count of awarded competencies across the organization. So I can see who's skilled, and in what way. And then just this rich text widget here allowed me to add some links that might be helpful to a user or consumer of this dashboard. So looking at this data, maybe I'm interested in seeing for the practical evaluation here, 89% of people are not started. I probably want to go take action on that data. So I'm going to go over here to my course activity report. I'm going to find my practical evaluation because that was the course I was interested in. And I'm going to add this filter. I'm then going to choose the not started status because that's the piece of data I was interested in. And I can always refine this by more data. Maybe I want to reduce the by department or whatever. But from here, I could select all these users, message these users and let them know, hey, you haven't taken your course. This is important. And that's how I can then take action on these reports. But to flip back to this dashboard and other things you can do, and I'll kind of show you building a widget in a minute. Another thing you can do with dashboards is not just look at data and statistics, but it's also communicate. So you can assign these dashboards to people in your organization or your partners or your customers, and you can maybe use it as a way to inform them or help guide them through their LMS. Like imagine you're just coming into your LMS. Here's some quick links to help you get started. Here's, in this case, it's a client summit agenda, but here's your agenda for the week. Here's your agenda for the month. Here's your 30-day plan. Maybe that's what you want to put in here. Here's some tips and tricks that are going to help you get started in your LMS or get started in your role. And here's some relevant announcements. So you do have to, as an admin, come in here and edit this and populate this and manage it, but you can push this out to a set of users. And so in that way, this is kind of a nice alternative tool to analytics that we have that can help you communicate with your organization. And building dashboards is very simple. I won't spend too long on this because we're going to get into more demos in a minute, but we give you some simple dashboard layouts that you can pick from and add to. Typically, you'll leave your dashboard as inactive until you're ready to publish it. I'll put a test title. You can add the departments that you're interested in and create. Let's just create our first dashboard. The dashboard editors rule is who else can edit your dashboard. So I'm just trying to flip through this very quickly, but here's my template. Now I can start to add my widgets. So we really tried here to build a very simple dashboarding experience that hopefully anyone could use and easily understand what they were looking at and why they were looking at it. But I'm going to stop this part of the demo now. And I'm just going to go back to the presentation. And I'm going to take you through advanced dashboarding, or rather Abdul will, when I've done a little bit of setup and context. So first question to ask when building a dashboard, the one I just showed you, or a more complex one like the one Abdul will show you, is who's your target audience? What are their business objectives? Is there a timing and frequency that's required for this information? Do they need it weekly, monthly, twice a week? What's the call to action? When they see that information, what do they need to do with it? Helping explain that through the dashboard you're building is really important. And then what data will be needed to support these actions? So I kind of used it as a template and built some simple use cases. This one I thought could be an external partners or customers use case. So the business objective is to understand if activity in the LMS is increasing or decreasing over time. This is more of an ad hoc activity. They want to view it when they log in and just access the dashboard, so I don't need to set up any scheduling or sharing. And maybe they want to message people after they've set this up based on low activity. So here they could use learner logins or course completions and start to look at that data. An e-commerce or course sales one. This was, oh, it looks like I've rebranded So I'm going to skip over that one. That's a user error. We'll go to the next one. I've got an internal compliance use case. So which employees have traveled out of the country in the past 14 days and are not vaccinated? This is a little legacy from when we were caring about COVID, but I think you kind of get the idea. At a certain point, it was very important to know the state of your employees' vaccination status or how they were doing. And so this type of internal compliance use case is sort of one I built out here. But I'm going to stop sharing now. And Abdul, if you'd like to take people through Analyze and some more specific use cases that they can get out through that, that would be great.
Definitely. Thank you, Pamela.
And your video is still off, Abdul. I don't know if you knew that, but maybe you're trying to figure out how to do all the things. Okay.
Okay. Do you see me now?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. And yeah, well, hello everyone. Glad to share with you a few of the amazing features for Analyze, and I really appreciate dedicating some time of your day to join us here. So this is the main page when you sign into the LMS portal. And Pamela just showed you some of the amazing feature this portal have. That being said, there is many cool features and tools that you could use with Analyze. Starting with the security, so Analyze licensing have two types of security. So you could either give your users a viewer or a designer, and for the designer is going to be the widgets on dashboards owners, where they can control filters and they can control how the dashboard look like. For your viewers will be just a viewer where they can access the data and have some kind of limited control, we will say. When you have Analyze on your portal, it's going to be up here. So by clicking on it, you could go to the landing page for Analyze. And I'll start with a very amazing feature here, which is the default dashboard. If I say that, just a reminder, if I say that the LMS portal, I'm talking about the admin experience portal. If I say BI applications, that's going to be the business application and tools like Analyze here, which is similar and looks like Power BI and Tableau and such. One of the interesting dashboard here is the user transcript, and this dashboard built on a huge demand from the clients. There is not much information. This is just a demo portal here. We could look into certificate competencies and curriculums, and you could also there is a few filters here you could look into if you want to filter with your usernames or email addresses and such. One of my favorite dashboard as well is the enrollment, and with the enrollment you could have an overview divided into like curriculum enrollment, course, and lessons as well, and also by the department and such. The default dashboard is a start, so it's a very handy tool to take advantage of, especially if you don't have your own BI tool, if you don't have analysts or experienced employees that they are really savvy with the BI applications. So they could use these default dashboards as a start. You could review this information, but editing these dashboard is limited if you look at it here. However, you could easily duplicate these dashboard. If I like enrollment, but let's say I don't like the colors, or I want to categorize this information with my company color, you could easily delete. You could also categorize all this information. So if you like this one, there is so many information here, you want to reduce this information, you could easily take some of these information off. I just want to look at my completed enrollment and a progress, not a started. That is better for me. Maybe the colors, so when I started, maybe red, and progress orange, and completed a green. Hit apply. It's very handy, very quick to deal with. Another thing is if you really excited and if you BI savvy, you could start a dashboard or a widget from the beginning, from the scratch, and you could do that by clicking the plus sign here. And you could do a new dashboard, new folders to organize your data and dashboards. Importing dashboards is also a very cool feature where you could export your dashboard in case there is any major changes, or if you want to save a copy of your dashboard so you could easily get it back. As for building a new dashboard, you start with a title here, and it is going to do course enrollment test. For the data source is when you, if you enroll in with Analyze, you're going to have some documentation and data model dictionary where you can know more about specific models in depth, and you could technically tell which kind of data, fields, and tables are included with this model. So if I am interested into looking into my users, for example, so I choose users. If I'm interested in to look into my logins, user logins, hit on logins. For now, I'm going to keep it for the course enrollment because my example focusing on the course enrollment, and you could easily look at it just by thinking which kind of question I want to answer. So if I'm interested in my top or popular courses, so I'm going to keep that for now. I hit create. And that's going to take me to the widget folder builder, sorry. And this is the simple builder, we could say, and you could select your data. So you could choose it from here. So let's say if I'm interested in my course name, I hit name, and then this is my course name. If I want just a simple count, I could just hit count. And I want the right count because there is lesson, enrollment session. I'm looking for course name and enrollment, course enrollment. So I'll hit that as well. So I could see here I have course name versus total course enrollment count. I could explore these visuals and graphs here. So I could easily switch and see how the data look like if I want to explore what I'm looking for. So it depends on which kind of fields and tables you're choosing. I prefer the advanced configuration, so I could hit advanced configuration where I could see more information and I can categorize more info here and there. In the middle is how my widget is going to look like, and a dashboard is a group of widgets. So this is my first widget here, and it's saying it's a pivot table because the system kind of helped me out here in the building. I just choose 2 pieces of info. So the system selected a pivot table for me. I could switch that easily just by clicking here and do a column chart. And now it's a column chart. I have a slider here. So if I want to look into this information, I could slide, or I could make this easier to look at by sorting here. So I could do descending. So I have now all of my courses organized by the total course enrollment count. Let's narrow this down and have more value to answer some of our business decision question. Maybe I could switch that into ranking, and I'm doing this really quick to take advantage of the time. So if you guys have more questions, we'll be happy to answer it, or we will be glad to have a detailed demo as well. So you could request for that. As for the ranking, I have my top 10 by the enrollment count. I could do 5, I could do 20. I'll keep it for 10 for now. So I have top 10 courses by the course enrollment count. This is nice, but I could have more detail there. So I could break that down by the status. So course enrollment status. And this is what we're looking for. And I could enhance the design. So I have on the right hand here filters and design. So I could see my first filter here is top 10. You could add more filters if you want to exclude historic information, deleted information. That's like more advanced feature. As for the design, I could enhance that just by doing stacked. I could do stacked 100% if you want to compare it in a percentage. There is so many tools here if you want to change your axis into logarithmic or add some more labels here. I do also like to focus that again. So complete, progress, not started. And definitely the colors, because the visuals is very important. So not started is not a green usually. And progress is orange, and complete, that's our green guy here. So we could look into that, and we see some red flags here. Anyway, other than that, we have a really cool machine intelligence tool here. Really I like, especially I remember my days in the school when I was doing a presentation, and it's like a last minute thing to do. So you could just enroll here in the narrative tool, which is gonna pull some summary for you from this visual here. And I could, when I turn that on, I have more tools here. So I could put it down, and I could control verbosity, terminology, and sentiment. So if I'm, for example, if I'm doing like sales, up is good, down is good for losses and such, and you could control your aggregation. So you could control some of the terms and the wording here. So I'm happy with this for now. I could just hit apply. And now I have my first widget in my test dashboard. One of the cool things as well with Analyze, so I built and maybe I'll spend more time with these and put more filters. If I want to do something else, I don't really need to start from the scratch. I could just duplicate this here and duplicate, pull this down, and I could switch that to reports. I know many clients like the reports. And I could switch that into a pivot. So I have reporting here, and I hit apply. So I have two widgets now. One is visual and one is detailed report. There is many features where you can make them interact with each other and such, but that's for a different time maybe. Other than that, when you click on Analyze, you will have other features related to Analyze. One of them is Pulse. So what Pulse do is alarming system. So I could do an example by creating a widget related to, let's say, maybe users. So I could do account. I'll hit advanced for now. Let me see. Okay, maybe I'll do that again here. So I'll do account or ID. So user ID, if I'm focusing on my users, so I have user ID, and I do advanced configuration. So, and now I could do my account. So I could switch that into indicator. I'll choose my account again. Or actually I'll do the ID and user ID. So user ID. Now I have a count of my user ID. I hit apply. So let's say this is an example. I have my user ID count. I could pull that up. It's kind of nicer for the design here. Okay. And so let's say we have a 2,510. If it's a very important KPI for me to watch for this number, if it's hitting 3,000, for example, I could add this into a pulse. So when I add this into pulse, I could either do a threshold, automatic, or always. So instead of me or my users going and check that every other hours or daily, this is very critical KPI for me. I could get a notification when it's equal or greater than 3,000, just for an example. And I could do that every 24 hours. I could change that as well. I could do advanced. So I could choose which user is gonna get the alert, and I could put a message, for example, oh, our users are reached 3,000, for example. You hit add, and you get that into Pulse. Also, one of the cool features that we just released with the help of the team here, product team, really appreciated the report manager. So it's a very handy tool to schedule reports with your users. So they don't really need to access Analyze all the time. They could get these reports by email, and they could get it in a PDF or CSV or such. So you could have more control and visuality here with the scheduling reports. One last thing, actually, this is pretty cool. I need to share that before I give the floor back to Pamela. Could show that quickly on the reports here. There is advanced feature. It's called Analyze It, and these features give you forecasting and a trend. And we could look into that. So show trend. Okay, and trend information. Okay, let's see, analyze it. So you could technically compare. It's pretty cool feature and strong feature. So you could compare with your previous year, previous month, easily by taking advantage of the algorithms here. So you could click and you could compare and you see if your enrollment or users, any type of data point you have here, and see an increase or decrease in your numbers. So that's pretty cool also to look into. I think I cover everything, Pamela. So I'll hand you the floor again. Did I forget anything?
You did, and that was great, Abdul.
Awesome, thank you.
It was fun for me to listen to too. I like hearing your passion in the product. It's lovely. So yeah, feel free to stop sharing. I'll flip back to the deck and we'll keep on going.
Thank you.
So so to summarize, I'm hoping you guys can see the presentation screen as opposed to my notes screen. I'm going to assume yes, if I don't hear any otherwise.
Yeah, it's the proper slide. It's good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Analyze is a Gartner rated business intelligence product, and it's embedded directly in the LMS, as you saw. A little bit of more detail. It's full stack, so it runs off of a data warehouse. The data is extracted, loaded, and transformed within the Snowflake warehouse by the tools Fivetran and Matillion. And that's how you're getting that data served up to you. And that's why there's some latency on the data, which is it's refreshed every 4 hours. And as you saw, it can auto forecast, auto analyze trends, auto generate data and explanations, and let you set threshold alerts. So it's our business intelligence solution, and business intelligence we think of as slightly different than just your standard reporting. And here's some customer feedback. The one that I'd like to point out here, well, customer and internal, let's say, because it is both. But the one I'd like to point out is, this is a direct quote from a client. So integrating the dashboards already saved my team 83 hours in the last 5 months since launch. I believe they used to use our former BI product, but this one was just easier to get up and running for them, easier to train on. And so they've been able to create, they said, some really impactful programs. And for us, we love to hear it, of course, because it means we did manage to build something that people can get a lot of value from, which is always our goal. So the last one, last but not least, nearly at the top of the hour here. So AnalyzeDirect. This is going to be really sort of a short overview, but you can bring your own BI. And so what's AnalyzeDirect? It provides ready-to-use LMS data via our vendor partner integration, which is Snowflake, that's the company. And you can then combine that with other data sources and visualize it in your BI tool of choice. So data is loaded and available, those same data sets you just saw, and it does allow you to bring it into your business's tool, put it with other data that you have available to you. And if that's important to you, you can do a little bit more. So sorry for the choppiness, but I'm just going to flip over to Abdul. He's just going to quickly show you what that interface looks like. It's not going to be how you would access it through a BI product, but he's going to just quickly show you what the back end of it looks like, which might be a little technical for some, but just bear with us.
Okay, do you see my screen, Pamela?
I do.
Awesome. Well, hi again. This is what AnalyzeDirect looks like. So it uses the Snowflake reader here to run some queries, while Analyze is kind of a full package with the Power BI, with the BI application and the pipeline. Direct is more focused on the data, so you could get raw data and you could focus on different aspects, especially if you have your own tool for the BI application. Could connect with the Power BI, Tableau, lockers, and such. I'm just going to run a quick query here. So this is an example for joining two tables. So we have four kind of views or tables here. The bridge, which is helps to connect your tables here. Dimension, facts, and security. So you could get different kind of aspects from each. We could see here the course name, some status, and date completed and date added. So you have so much to do here. Need more, obviously, Snowflake experience and more kind of writing and scripting. And we're here to support you with that as well. As much. Another example is if we want to get information for logged in versus not logged in users, could run that as well. And I could get something that the LMS didn't record it, like not logged in data. So I could see Brett here logged in versus the others. And this is also demo information. So you'll have more access here for your data. Other than that, sorry if it's not too much information, but I'm trying my best here because I'm not an expert in this yet.
The additional presenter we had for this is actually sick today, so unfortunately couldn't make it. But Abdul, I think that's great. Awesome. I think we'll flip to the last piece we have here, which is essentially just our Q&A. So I do think we've been fairly efficient with all the help at answering all the questions in the Q&A, but now if you have any more, then please drop them in. But thank you so much for participating, for giving us your time, for answering our polls, for asking questions. We're really happy to be here and to talk to you, and we hope you got something out of this session. So I will answer live some questions that are popping in right now. Is Analyze available now? Yes, it is. It was launched last year. AnalyzeDirect was launched about 2 months ago. Is there an additional cost for AnalyzeDirect? Yes, it's the same cost as Analyze. Analyze and AnalyzeDirect are offered at the same price point of $12,500 USD. That's the list price. Are there any support pages about Analyze Report Manager? It looks like Abdul answered that one. Would be great if there was training on Analyze on the training portal. Love Abdul is great. Thank you, Abdul, again. Nice call out. So yes, we have, I guess we have all of our documentation. You're suggesting some videos. We are looking at all of our training documentation quite heavily or deeply, critically maybe is actually the best word. So hopefully, Karen, we would have more for you later there. But yeah, I agree. We'd love to get some videos out. It would help people consume it. Are the dimensions on the dashboards adjustable? Abdul, I'm going to let you answer that one. Maybe you want to, I'll keep going and then I'll come back to that. What are the main upgrades from Inform to Analyze? It's really everything that Abdul just showed you. So it's the fact that the pre-canned templates are more comprehensive than what we were able to offer in Inform. The ability to access your data is in your hands, so you don't need a business intelligence analyst like Abdul. Like, you can absolutely use his services through Absorb, but realistically you can build your dashboards yourself and you can start to copy those dashboards and build them. It's also the fact that it's business intelligence. Our Inform product wasn't BI in the same way that this product is BI. You can do those narratives, those trend analysis, the pulse alerts, like all those additional kind of analytics tools. They're just like there in the product for you to leverage. So hopefully that helped answer that question. And then Abdul, yeah, do you want to take that question?
Yes, definitely. Actually, I was writing the answer now, but yeah, it's you could resize the widgets and prioritize your views, and it's pretty adjustable. So you could like decide if you prefer like widgets versus a dashboard. So you have some control, and I've been through that with some clients where they have like a lot of information. So there is some tweaks to deal with that.
Yeah. And so then I just saw, is it possible to get a trial with Analyze that uses your own data? No, we don't offer this because of the cost to support that, the business. Bringing the data across is quite expensive. That is why there's a fee associated with that product in general. But we do have a sales portal and or a portal where you can go and try with our dummy data, which is the same one that Abdul just showed in this session. And we have the same for our AnalyzeDirect product. Yeah, so that was the last question we had. I'll give it a minute or two more just to see if there's any others. But certainly, just as a reminder for those of you on the call, if you have more questions, please reach out to your Absorb contact. It's here, virtual summit at Absorb LMS, or you can reach out to your CSM if you have one, or your account manager. We're more than happy to keep answering questions, providing any documentation you need. Okay, one more. When exporting Analyze reports to Excel, is there a way to have date fields come over as Excel date fields rather than UTC? That's a complicated question that I maybe Abdul knows the answer to. If not, we might need to take that one away. Abdul?
Sorry, what's the question again? I'm trying to read.
When exporting Analyze reports to Excel, is there a way to have date fields come over as Excel date fields rather than in UTC? So maybe we need to take that one away, I think, if Abdul wasn't.
Probably. I think, yeah, there was some improvement. The product team work on that to kind of have a better representation.
Okay.
So, and also there was, I think it's where we noticed that the Excel old version sometimes have some issue, but if you have an updated Excel copy and take advantage of the maybe report manager as well to get a raw file. So there is many options for that.
Avi, I think we'll take that one away and reach out to you. I don't think. Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. All right. Any other questions? If not, we'll wrap up.
Pamela and Abdul, that was a great session. Thank you so much for all of the interesting information, for answering all of the questions. That's super. Maybe we'll just remind everybody about the next presentation coming up. Pamela, if you wouldn't mind pulling up the slide, our next presentation is on Tuesday, November 15th. It is about integration. So all of you that want to learn a little bit more about the different types of integration that Absorbs offer and what are the pros and cons to all of the different types of integration, this session is for you. Please join us on November 15th. So once again, thank you to everybody who came to this session today. We appreciate you spending this time with us. Once again, thank you for Pamela and Abdul for doing such a great job presenting, for Robert for handling questions in the background, for Nicole taking on the polls and actually keeping everything running. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day. Thanks very much.